Hello, today is day 5, and the question for today is, what challenges have I faced with health and fitness in the past? What's held you back before, and how are you overcoming those struggles this time? So one of the biggest challenges that I have faced, or the struggles, I have tried so many different ways. It's really windy outside. Ways to lose weight, and I have done fasting, I have done the keto diet, I have oh my gosh, there's so many, I can't even think of them all, but I have tried so many different things. I've tried punishing myself after eating too much or eating too many sweets, and most of those did not work. It's like a temporary solution. The keto, I lost 15 pounds in a month, and I don't know if that's healthy or not. I know, like, whenever you weigh a little bit more, there's a little bit more there that your body can give way to. But after, I gained probably twice that amount back because I didn't change my eating habits. I didn't change my lifestyle or the way that I viewed food. I have always had a weird relationship with food. I use food for, emotional issues and all sorts of different things. I always have this thought in my mind of, like, what am I going to eat next? Or what, if I see something, so I'll be watching commercials, and if I see something on the TV that really interests me, say like a Reese's peanut butter cup, my brain will constantly think of that Reese's peanut butter cup until I eat it. And I got to a point to where if I avoided cravings, I would eat like 10 different things to try to satisfy that craving. When instead, if I would have just ate that one thing that I wanted, it would have been done. It would have been over, and I could have moved on. So I've learned to stop avoiding the craving. And cravings don't come all the time. It's not an every meal kind of thing. It's just like randomly it'll come up, like the peanut butter Reese's cup. There were a few nights where I had one every single night, and there are people out there, they're like, I eat dessert every single night and it doesn't affect my weight loss or it doesn't affect my journey. And I wanted to get to that point because I'm one of those, if I try to completely avoid something, I want it more. I have cut out pop, and I did really good for a really long time. But then whenever I had a pop, it was just all back, and it escalated so quickly. Mountain Dew, I avoided Mountain Dew for a really long time because it's literally just pure sugar and caffeine. And when I had a Mountain Dew at my grandma's store, it was an everyday thing. I'd get one can of pop, and then I got a 12-pack at home, and it became 2 or 3 a day. And I was going through that 12-pack really fast. So I was like, okay, I'll just get a 24-pack. And over time, it just kind of took over, and I was like, whoa, I have to stop, because my biggest struggle was drinking my calories. Whenever I started documenting my calorie intake in 2023, like last year, that was the biggest thing. I was drinking most of my calories, and nothing is more unsatisfying than drinking your calories, because it's there and then it's gone. It doesn't take long for that to digest, and it doesn't take long for your body to process that. And then you go into a sugar spike, or for me, it's silly. I probably should completely cut caffeine out, because I'm a person that I can drink a Mountain Dew, I can drink a Red Bull, and then go take a nap. Like, caffeine does the opposite for me than it does for some people. And that's probably most of my energy issue, is drinking caffeine. But it's delicious. And I'm one of those, like, cutting it out makes me want it more. So I try to just moderate things and not beat myself up. On the days that I do have a Mountain Dew, I'm like, it's okay, let's move on. And I've found that for me, keeping like Coke Zero at home helps with that, because the Coke Zero has caffeine, but not as much as like a Mountain Dew has. and it doesn't have all the sugar that a Mountain Dew has. So it satisfies that, like, carbonation is a big thing for me. I truly love carbonation. And I tried like the Olipop, the Poppy, Zevia, and it just, I don't know. Like the sugar, if I could cut sugar out, I feel like that would solve most of my problems. But almost everything we eat these days has sugar, unless you're eating, you know, like real meat, vegetables, and fruit. I know fruit has sugar as well, but it's a different kind of sugar than the processed sugar that we have. But that, like, the food noise is the biggest thing for me, and being able to fight it. There's been days where I've wanted to fast. So I have digestive issues, and I've wanted to fast for at least 24 hours and just drink water. And I know it's going to take longer for my insides to heal than, you know, longer than 24 hours for my insides to heal. So I've wanted to go longer than that, just to see, you know, what would happen if I stopped giving my body things that it doesn't like. Like yesterday, I didn't eat breakfast yesterday, and then I had a Mountain Dew, and it was like lunchtime. I ate 2 pieces of celery and had like a tablespoon of peanut butter, and not even 30 minutes, my body was pushing it out the bottom, and I was like, and it hurts so bad. Like, my stomach hurts so bad, and I don't know what it is. I have gone to the doctor for like irritable bowel syndrome. I have gone to the doctor. I don't have a gallbladder. There are so many things that, you know, I've looked into for it, and I have no idea what it is. I've looked into like dumping syndrome, and it couldn't be that, according to, you know, like what causes that. I have done the FODMAP, where, you know, you have your foods that you can eat, the foods you can eat in moderation, and then the foods that you absolutely should not eat. I avoid onion and garlic like the plague, because I know that onions are a huge one that makes my body go, nope. I have cut out dairy, sort of. I switched to lactose-free milk. I still do eat cheeses sometimes, and I know, like, when I eat pizza, sometimes my stomach really hurts, and I just, like, it's a consequence of eating pizza. But to me, it's frustrating that I allow myself to feel that pain, because I could easily cut it out, you know, and I don't. So I know, like, mashed potatoes makes me feel really sluggish. So a lot of times, any kind of potato really makes me feel really sluggish. So sometimes I'll avoid it. But then there's other times where I'm like, nah, I'm just going to eat the potato, and I'm just going to deal with the consequences. Like, I am more, what do you call it? Willing to deal with the consequences than I am to deal with the pain of not eating potatoes or not eating cheese, or, you know, the things that physically affect my body. And I don't know if that's like a mental thing that I need to be able to process, to be able to get through that, because I know that I can lose weight. I know that I can eat healthy. It's just a matter of sticking to it long term. I haven't figured out how to stay with it, you know, for every single meal. Like, I'll eat one really good meal, and then the next meal will be crap, and then the next meal will be crap, and then I'll eat another bad meal, and then the next meal is really good. So it's a matter of, like, how can I mentally stay focused enough to be able to reap the rewards that I truly want? Because I've said it multiple times, I don't want to be skinny. I want to be healthy. I want to feel healthy, mostly from the inside out. I want my digestive system to feel healthy. It's been a really long time since I've been able to enjoy a meal without having stomach issues. And I take a medicine for gallbladder issues because I had my gallbladder removed, but I haven't spoken to my doctor about anything else since then, because it's just like, here, take this will help. And it's basically like an Imodium. It just stops everything. And that's not healthy either. But I know when I'm eating and then my body just gets rid of it, and like there's no way my body has time to process the nutrients that are in that food. So sometimes I contribute that to, why I can't lose weight, because how is my body supposed to take care of itself when it can't even process the nutrients that I am giving it, right? And, a lot of people are like, well, you're just making excuses. And I'm like, I wish I was. I know there are things that I can do. Like I can avoid all those foods, I avoid celery and peanut butter, but those are supposed to be foods that are healthy for you. So, and when I did the FODMAP, the amount of foods that I could eat, that list was the shortest list. The amount of foods that I could eat in moderation was a decent sized list. The amount of foods that I could not eat, should not eat, was like all the way down the page, plus, half of the back of the page. And to me, it's discouraging knowing that there's so much that I cannot have. And to say cannot, like I said earlier, if it's something I cannot have, it makes me want it more. So I don't know how to get over that hump of, it is better for me to eat the foods that I can have and avoid the foods that I cannot have. So that is one of the processes that I have to work through. And then also, the mental struggle of if I can't have it, I want it more. And I've done a lot of journaling on food stuff. I've done a lot of journaling on body stuff and mental stuff and writing. I write a lot. I talk a lot. One of the main reasons why I'm doing these videos is because it helps me process the things. Go away. It helps me process the things that I'm going through. It helps me process the things that I want to be able to do in the long run. And please stop. My husband's at the door. But there's so much that I can accomplish, I feel like, and there's so much that's still holding me back, and I don't have the proper people to talk to about it. So hopefully someone sees this video that maybe has been through something that I've been through, the food noise or the stomach issues, or, being able to fast. And I know fasting probably isn't the solution, but there's got to be a way that I can eat certain foods or something, just avoid certain foods. I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but there has to be a way where I can heal my insides, because they say our bodies heal themselves, if we're willing to let them heal themselves, and if we're willing to go through the process of, taking care of our bodies enough to allow them to heal. So I know there's something that I can do. I just don't know what that is. Okay, I want to continue with other things that I have struggled with on this journey. I've mentioned it a couple times before, visually, when I look at my body, I don't see the same person in the mirror as I see, if I just go like this and look at myself, I'm like, yeah, I look decent. But then I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't even recognize that person. I look at pictures and I don't recognize that person. And I don't know how to either switch it or, see me in the mirror for who I really am. There's times where I'll get a glimpse in the mirror of who I actually see. And it's exciting, but at the same time, it's disappointing, because I'm like, why can't I see that all the time? And then I see the flaws, which I know everybody has its own, qualities and I don't want to say imperfections, because it's not imperfect. We're all, we're all perfectly made in our own ways. We're all shaped different. I mean, if we were all made the same, wow, that would be a very boring life, very, very boring world. But we're all unique in our own ways. And at one point, when I was down to 215, just being at that weight, I was like, holy moly, I loved the girl that I saw in the mirror. And then I question, how did I let that go? And I look back, I struggle with that as well. Looking back at who I was and where I was, and being proud of that person, but also being proud of the person that I am now and proud of the progress that I'm making now, because there's a lot of inner healing that has to happen to be able to like remain at that size. And I know if I'm going to get under 200 pounds, like there's a lot of mental processing that I need to do to be able to get under the 200 pounds, because I visually cannot see myself under 200 pounds. Like when I got to 215, I was like, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And I know, like, if I could look fit, you know, and have the muscle and have the tight belly, tight thighs. Like my thighs and my belly are like my two major insecurities because they're thick. And if I could have those a little bit smaller, a little more tone, you know, more muscle than anything. I did learn how to use my abs, so that kind of changed the game, but it still hasn't changed my stomach. And I don't know if it'll be, you know, a surgery that I'd have to have. I hope that I don't have to. I don't want to have to deal with that. I did have a C-section with my last child, and that was the worst experience of my entire life. I never want to have to go through any kind of surgery like that again. And yeah, I just hope that there's a way that I can, you know, continue to slowly lose weight and allow my body to go, I don't want to say go back to the way it was, because I don't think it'll ever be back to where it was before I had kids, but at least like if my stomach could shrink just a little bit. Like I think of, you know, the people that have lost 100 pounds and like their stomach is just skin now. Like I want to be able to lose that fat that's in there. I want to be able to burn that fat, like not lose it, but like I want it to be gone forever. Gosh. Oh my goodness. But I want to be able to lose that fat forever and not have it come back. I want to get to a place to where it's permanent loss and not, you know, a temporary thing to where a few months from now, I'm going to go back to my old ways. I'm going to go back to my old ways of eating and drinking and gain that weight back and become the same person that I've been most of my life. I want to get to a point to where I am living a healthier life. I'm choosing healthier habits, and in the long run, you know, I benefit from it. My body is different. My mind is different. And, you know, it's a long-term reward, long-term results, essentially. I don't want temporary fixes. I want forever fixes. And I want to make my body healthy from the inside out. I want to heal from, you know, the trauma that I've been through in my life. I want to heal like physically. And I know, like, I've looked at Louise Hayes's, she's got a list of, you know, like why we deal with the things that we deal with. And I know, like, my asthma, I was silenced a lot as a kid. I was always told that I was too loud. I was too much. So I just stopped talking to people. I stopped letting things out. And, you know, asthma is one of those things that, like, if you're being suppressed, that's what it causes. And my asthma was the worst when I was a kid. And as I started getting older, I started talking more. I mean, shoot, just in the last 6 years, 2019, I started talking to a therapist, and the amount of healing that I have been through, I have not struggled with my asthma. I mean, just recently I got sick with walking pneumonia, and that activated my asthma. And that was the biggest issue I've had with my asthma in a really long time. But because I've been talking and because I've been getting all of this stuff out, I feel like it has helped me get to a better place. So I feel like with the stomach issues, you know, whatever it is, I wrote a list in my health journal somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at right now, but I wrote a list in my health journal of all the things that I have dealt with and all the things that cause those things. And I'm going to slowly work through and try to heal those things so that in the long run, I can remove those things from my life completely and not have to deal with them, and, you know, become a whole new me, essentially. I want to be better at 40 than I was at 30. Like, I was better at 30 than I was at 20. And I just, every 10 years, I want to be better. I mean, every year I want to be better than I was the year before. But, looking at the grand scheme of things, like every 10 years, I want to be able to look back at where I was at 30 and be like, wow, this is a totally different person. And then at 50, every single time I want to be able to look back and be proud of the progress I've made and the steps that I've taken to become a better version of myself. So if you've watched this far, I am shouting out the people that comment the key phrase in the comments below. And the key phrase for this video is overcoming every obstacle. Drop that in the comments below and answer the question that's in the comments below as well. I would love to connect with you. If you're seeing this, I'm grateful you're here, and I'll see you on the next video.